Hello, lovely human. Welcome to the Little Flower Oracle. My name is Krista, and I deliver the messages and frequencies you need to align to your soul's most authentic and abundant path. So, for today's reading, I was inspired to do a reading to cater to the full moon in Leo that is about to take place on February 12th. So my intention is that this reading goes up on February 11th. So when you're watching this, hopefully you will be smack dab in the middle of those energies. And the reading and the messages in the reading will be even more amplified because of that. But if you happen to be watching this at a later date, this is still a universal, timeless reading. You just be aware that the energies of the full moon in Leo are amplifying the messages. The energies of the sign of Leo are amplifying the messages. So yeah, if it resonates, right? So for this reading, my prompt is Amplify Your Glow Up, a reading to help you boost your confidence and manifest abundance on this full moon in Leo. So all of that being said, go ahead and choose a group. You can choose group number 1. They are all carnations. Group number 1 with the purple carnation, group number 2 with the peach carnation, or group number 3 with the fuchsia carnation. And I will see you in the reading. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to the Little Flower Oracle. My name is Krista, and I deliver the messages and frequencies you need to help you align to your soul's most authentic and abundant nature and path. So for today's reading, I am offering an Amplify Your Glow Up reading that caters to the full moon in Leo that is taking place on February 12th, 2025. But this reading is timeless, so don't worry about the timing of the full moon. Just be aware that this reading, I'm recording it on the 10th, so the energies of the full moon are very much amplifying this reading. The sign of Leo is very much amplifying this reading, and the themes of self-confidence and self-glow, like the word glow keeps coming to my mind. Just how can you glow? How can you amplify? How can you become bigger and brighter and in a way that is truly authentic to your soul nature and that feels truly aligned with who you are? And so my intention is to help you amplify your confidence and amplify any manifestations of abundance that you are on right now, like the journey that you're on with that right now. So those are my intentions for the reading. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. You chose the purple carnation, and I'm just going to set that right over here as a presence for us during our reading, and we're going to get right into it. So I'm going to pull a couple of, actually maybe just one card from the Herbal Astrology Oracle to be an overarching theme. And this one is popping out right away. We have number 49 with psilocybin and commune. Psilocybin is the chemical in mushrooms. So it is a psychedelic, but it also it can be used very medicinally. So it can be, of course, abused as all, quote, drugs can be. But very much, I've heard of people having deep healing experiences through psilocybin. So, and there's this energy coming through of freedom, of a letting go of structures that have made you previously feel secure. There's this feeling of complete trust in the universe and like a free fall into something new. And yeah, it's like almost like, I believe anyway, it takes a lot of trust to decide to do something like psilocybin. It would take a lot of self-trust, trust in the universe, trust in who you're around, because it is one of those things where you are letting go of control. By no means in this reading am I encouraging psilocybin. We're just speaking about it because it literally just came up in your overarching theme card. So again, I just want to say there's number 49, if that's relevant to anybody. It reduces to 4. So 4 is a number about security. So it's interesting that I'm talking about letting go of what brings you security. Yeah, there's this free fall, this letting go, there's this trust, and with it, bringing so much healing. So that's really beautiful. So those are the energies that are present here, and this is what's going to bring you ultimately a sense of confidence. So that's interesting. So we're going to pull a couple of cards from the Angels of Atlantis and see what kind of angelic energies are present as well. All right. What angels, archangels, would like to be present during this reading for group number 1? And what energies would like to be present as well? Let's see what comes through. We have, oh, actually, yeah, I'm going to take these. Okay. We have Gabriel with inspiration. And no way, we have Gabriel again. Wow, that's amazing. With grace, inspiration, and grace. So Gabriel is an archangel that's mentioned in the Bible quite a bit, and is an angel, a messenger angel. So the throat chakra, communication, writing, ways of communicating. So very interesting. I want to pull some more cards just to see what else comes through, but I'm getting excited to see where this is going to take us. A couple cards from the Woodland Wardens, and then we will get right into the tarot. Okay, we've got the Snail and Huckleberry. Oh, I love this. This works perfect. It makes sense with the psilocybin card. Trust in the invisible. Okay. So it's giving me puzzle pieces coming together that you're unaware of. Things working out better than you expect, spirit helpers doing things behind the scenes to make everything, to help a certain outcome come out, everything working in your favor even when you don't see it or understand it. The butterfly and the snowdrop with hope. I like that hope and grace are over here. It's very kind of godly energy present. And trust in the invisible. And the way I was talking about that free fall and letting go of what brings you security. There's a feeling of you are going to be okay no matter what the outcome. There's a feeling of realizing that when moving forward with love and some degree of surrender, there's a feeling that you can trust in your decisions, and you can know that God, the divine, the universe is bigger than you. And if you happen to make a quote unquote misstep, you will still end up on the right path. So there's just a complete trust and surrender here. Okay. I am going to pull some cards from the Muse Tarot and get some more context, some more messages. I love that you got 2 Gabriels. I think that's so cool. And then even this blue butterfly here is making me think of Gabriel. Really, it's this beautiful, and kind of Archangel Michael too a little bit, but the blue color is really prevalent here. And even over here with Huckleberry, those little berries there are blue. So yeah, throat chakra energy is really standing out. And over here we have a goose. So don't know if that means anything to anybody. Inspiration and grace. Okay, so we have the Empress, the 5 of Swords, do I want to keep it? I'll keep it reversed for this one. I don't normally do reversals, but that one really just felt like it wanted to stay reversed, so we're gonna keep it there. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna pull one more. Make some space here for one more card. And Death. Okay. So we've got the Empress, the Five of Swords, the Three of Swords reversed, or the Five of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, the Devil, and the Death card. So for whatever reason, it kind of feels like these 4 cards over on the left here want to be read in unison with one another, and then these 3, the Queen of Swords, the Devil, and the Death card, are kind of their own entity, and they have a message that's going to relate to this message over here. So with the Empress is about abundance. The Empress is about fertility. It's about having everything you need and aligning with the abundant nature of reality. So the abundance in nature itself. And then with the Five of Swords, and especially with the Five of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles is almost the opposite of the Empress card. It is about material lack. It is about feeling like you're missing out on something, like you're left out in the cold from this beautiful abundance, this beautiful luxury, this beautiful experience of life that as human you're meant for. There's an internal conflict going on with the Five of Swords. We also have the Three of Swords reversed. It feels as though there's a lot of confusion going on, internal confusion, wondering how this abundant reality that I seek, this fertility that I seek, this expression of love and freedom and connection to the earth and material abundance in particular, it's like, yeah, there's just this overall inner conflict and feeling left out from it, or feeling like almost like the universe is leaving you out purposefully, or like you've been doing something wrong. That kind of aligns with that message earlier, like even if you misstep, you're on the right track. So what this is all pointing to and saying for me is that you're like, I want to say, like, obviously the universe isn't leaving you out. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing you've done wrong. There's nothing you could have ever done to deserve being punished in a way that you're being left out of like this abundant reality that you're seeking. And there's this feeling of what is taking place is very much an internal battle. And even with these, I'm kind of just reading these 3 cards. We've got 5, 5, and then the 3 in the middle is reversed. And I'm thinking of like 5D reality and 3D reality. And the 3 card being reversed is almost like, I am connected to my 5D. I know I'm worthy, or I know that this potential exists to live more in harmony with my material world, or live more in abundance with my material world. But there's a conflict with the 3D element, like with this being reversed. And even you can kind of see on the card, the energy of the card, especially the Three of Swords, is about heartbreak, heart pain, sadness, internal struggle. And there's this feeling of what is going to help move you forward is to tend to that in a way, to go within. And I feel like I can almost feel the eye rolls on the other side of the screen, like just because it's such an abstract thought to think, okay, well, how am I going to create more abundance in my life? Well, I need to go in and, like, if I'm telling you, like, you need to go within and you need to send yourself self-love in those places where you feel lack. You need to send yourself, you need to dig a little deep and see where you're feeling as if you somehow deserve to be on the fringes of that abundance, like outside of that abundance, separated from that abundance. What makes you like in that state of unworthiness? And so, there's this message to go within and remind yourself just how, like the word lovable you are, and just how worthy you are of gifts being showered upon you just for being who you are. And there might be some deconditioning that needs to happen around your relationship to a higher power that could have been carried on or like inherited through your relationship with your parents, masculine, feminine, mother, father, whatever it may be, or just how you were, like your ancestry or whatever it is, any feelings of lack that were inherited. So there is that feeling of going within and sending that self-love to those spaces. And that's a really strong message. And it's a pretty simple message. It's something you can do at any moment of the day. You can, instead of lamenting and wondering why haven't things changed, or why am I not worthy, or like even just like being aware of your thoughts around it and catching yourself when you're saying or when you're feeling these things. It seems imperative right now. The internal shift is very important to look at right now. And it's so possible to shift your internal state through love. And like with the Empress being over here, it's a message that this is a part of who you are. This is wholly who you are, this abundant, creative force. And why wouldn't you be worthy of that being reflected back in the world around you? Or why wouldn't you be worthy of the world around you being an environment in which you can thrive within your abundant, creative, loving, free-spirited nature? So we're asking those questions. We're going in and we're asking, why? Why have I allowed myself to feel so unworthy? This is gonna, like earlier when I kind of mentioned, like I can feel the eye rolls. It's like sometimes I feel like we want practical steps, or we just want to see things change, and we don't want to do the work, or maybe we've done a lot of work and we're kind of tired of doing the work, or whatever it may be. But I have to say, what's being presented to me right now is a very, like, it feels like the core of something important. So it feels like if you've done a lot of internal work around worthiness or whatever it may be on this abundance journey, on this path to building the most authentically abundant life for you, you've reached this point where you're at that core wound. And so all of that work, you have to like kind of wake up and say like, okay, all of that work wasn't for nothing. I'm not going to shirk this opportunity to finally heal this wound. It's like I've dug through all the layers, but now we're here. And unfortunately, this is kind of the most important part, but it could possibly be one of the hardest parts, because, and I'm not saying it will be like the most long, hard part that's going to take a long time and you're going to like suffer or anything like that. But it feels more like this is the part that requires your most attention, and this is the part that requires your most, like your most care, like the most care and delicateness. And so like we're at that wound, and what are we going to do now that we're here? Now that it's right here in front of us and we feel it on a day-to-day basis, we feel that lack, we feel it screaming at us almost. What are we going to do? It's like now is the time. Now is the time. And it really feels a lot like going internal, and this can be however this resonates with you, but the main thing is self-love. The main thing is just sending compassion. The main thing is resting in your worthiness, in your knowing of your worthiness. And instead of seeing and feeling all of this lack and frustration and being frustrated with yourself that you haven't healed it yet, you're just having compassion one more time and turning love and compassion and understanding inward towards oneself one more time, and awakening it one more time to all of the reasons, all of the things you've inherited, everything that led to your soul feeling this way. And so it is this culmination that seems to be happening in your internal healing journey when it comes to what my prompt was, which was, how can you embrace abundance, and how can you embody confidence? And it feels very like a humble confidence that wants to come through you, a gratitude, a freedom, a quiet confidence, a feeling of safety in your heart. This feels very heart-centered, like the inner, as I'm speaking. And I think it makes sense because your message is to give yourself love. So there might be a part of you, like it could be your inner child, it could be just that deepest part of your heart and your soul where that sense of lovability and worthiness is. Because it almost feels like the question is like, why am I not worthy for the things I want? And that's a question of the soul. That's a question of the heart. And that's a question of one of the most intimate parts of you. And so this may be about, I'm going to put, the title is going to talk more about like embodying a glow up and embodying more abundance. But ultimately, true abundance is self-worth and gratitude for what you have, and confident in what you're building and creating in the world, and passion and love for what you do, and confidence in your worthiness to receive material, what's the right word? Because I almost wanted to say material rewards, but I don't really believe that that's how abundance works, that in like a rewarding kind, like, oh, you did this, so you get rewarded, or you didn't do this right, so you're being punished. Like maybe some of you need to hear it, like, and just frame it a little bit. Like, look at that part of you. Is there a part of you that thinks you're being punished, or that you're not worthy because you didn't do enough? Like, I don't know. There's just another question to throw out there and observe inside of yourself. We're not overthinking it, but we're just asking ourselves those questions calmly and with love. I think when we do this, we're able to slowly develop that muscle of compassion and understanding for where we're at, where we've been. And that feels like we're finally bridging into this Queen of Swords now, Queen of Voices. And with this, actually, now it's like kind of tying in with the Queen of Swords here. Her card is very like, they're even like a bluish gray color here. And that's a lot of the color that was popping up when we first started the reading. And the Queen of Voices in particular, like voices. And how we were talking about Gabriel being that voice, that throat chakra. I think there's a part of your soul that is so embodied in the truth of your abundant nature, and how that, or it's more like the truth of what you're worthy of, and the truth of what you get to have in this world, and the truth of how capable you are of creating it, and how worthy you are of manifesting it and cultivating it in the world, and just how gracious and loving and kind the universe and the earth are, and just how much they are craving to work with you in your sense of worthiness and be balanced with you and provide for you. So that merging wants to happen, that constant connection to that part of our voice, that fortification of that part of our voice that knows the truth. So, and that marriage of that part of our voice to that part of our heart that has felt left out. That union. Commune up here with psilocybin, it's making me think of all the different elements of ourselves communicating, and like internal like communication bridges being built in place. For some reason I'm seeing the human design like chart, and how everything's like lit up nicely, and all the little bridges are lit up, and everything's like, you know, like working together in harmony, like all parts of you, and there's no like internal conflict anymore. It's like, okay, like I'm going to use my own example for like, cause I've been there where I felt like a part of me really truly believes and knows what I'm worthy of. But then the other part of me that's wounded is like holding me back from really truly embodying and receiving what I know I'm worthy of. Because they don't feel worthy. And until I pay heed to their voice and what they need me to see and witness and shine light on them to provide healing for them, that part of me, I'm never going to be able to move into that abundance, truly embody it, because I'm internally conflicted. There's a part of me that doesn't believe I'm worthy, so it doesn't make sense. It clashes. So there's just a merging, a marriage, a union, a communication, a balance, an internal harmony that wants to be struck. I mean, I haven't touched on this either. We have the devil here as well. And the devil is it can be about negative self-talk. It can be about shame. It can be about enslavement, entrapment. And it does feel as though there are parts of you or like parts of the way you're thinking about your situation, or like weird internal like entrapments or like tricks that are being played in an internal way where you're holding yourself back from something you're worthy of and something that's really meant for you. It could be out of fear. It could be out of like, shame almost, like a sense of, I keep saying the word unworthiness, but that's what's coming through. The devil's a tough energy, to be present, but it makes sense with everything I've been saying. It's like, I really think like this part of you that needs this love and attention is truly believing like it's kind of making me think of, and it doesn't have to be this extreme, but like, I just watched this movie called Alice, Darling, and has Anna Kendrick in it, and she is in an abusive relationship, and she convinces herself that she's the problem, and really the guy is just very manipulative and coercive, and I don't know, like, so it's almost like, and I'm not saying this is what you're experiencing with another person or anything, but the way she kind of was manipulated into thinking that she was doing something wrong, or that she was the problem, or she was bad, it was like, it almost feels like there are parts of you that are in this more wounded state that are still convincing themselves that they're the problem, and that they're like, there's like shame there even for holding, like, it almost feels like a part of you that feels like perpetually wounded, maybe. And take this if it resonates. Some of this might not resonate, or some of you might not resonate with this particular message. But the deeper I go into the rabbit hole of looking at this, some of you could even have that feeling of, I'm wrong. And just in parts of you, like, it might not even be your overarching energy, you know what I mean? But the wounded part of you that needs this love is saying like, I'm wrong, and I'm holding myself back from all of this because there's something wrong with me. Like, that's kind of the energy. Like, there's something wrong with me, so that's why I'm being held back. Or that's why I'm not able to truly embody like a confidence and a light, or be uplifted by others, or seen by others in a really true way, or embody my joy in a true way in the world and have it be received, or whatever it is. It's like, there's just something really there, and I think it's in the heart space. So, Some crystals that are good for the heart space are rose quartz, emerald. Those are my two favorites. Malachite is good. I almost want to bring, I have some rose quartz literally right here. So I'll bring a couple into the reading. But yeah, definitely we need to send ourselves some love. We need to spend some time with ourselves and just have compassion for ourselves and see where that brings us. You know, I feel like it could bring us to some emotional release. It could bring us to some clarity, some answers. We could hear the true voice that's buried underneath all of the shame or the lies or the trickery in our minds. And, you know, like we could really start to feel it and see that truth underneath all of it. That clarity really wants to break through. And then we have the death card here at the end. And death is about transfer. It's the perfect card to end this tarot because it's about rebirth. It's about transformation. It's about the parts of you that you allow to just die off and you allow to just turn into the mulch that nurtures the soil of your soul and makes you even more fertile. You know, it's like letting these parts of you, or at least the encasing or the caking or the energetic like entrapment energy that's held, these truer, more beautiful parts of you, allowing all of that to be like that. It's like conditioning, you know, allowing all of that to kind of die off so that the raw, beautiful, lovable part of you that's more true, that part of your essence can remain free and unencumbered by all of this like marring or the staining or whatever, you know, like this encasement, this caking on of negative energy, you know. So yeah, there's a part of you in your heart space, and the heart is about love, universal love, and the heart is the powerhouse center of the entire energetic field. And so can you imagine, you know, a shift or a healing in the heart, how much that can do for your overall sense of well-being and your overall embodiment of your own power. So we have a stink bug flying around. I haven't seen one of those in a while. So they always, you never know. But I don't know, maybe that's a sweet little sign. Just let whatever is hiding in the corners of your being fly out and deal with it, you know? Okay, so I did bring another set of tarot cards. I think I'll pull a few of them from the Starseeker Tarot. I just want to use them since I have them out. But I feel like we're nearing the end here. Like that was a really good, like that death card felt really good for the ending of this. But a little bit more moving forward. We do have that butterfly and snowdrop with a little bit of hope. And I feel like I want to bring a final message here of hope for you. And what can we look forward to? So, oh, wow. The card I pulled first is the 10 of Pentacles. This is the most secure, long-term security, long-term financial stability. This is the card of legacy, the card of strength is coming through, the card of abundance, like true material abundance that transcends. It's like a, kind of an ironic energy because it's like it transcends the material. It's one of those things where the material abundance with the 10 of Pentacles is something that's reflected in the physical world. Absolutely. It's one of the most like rooted and grounded and material cards in the deck. But the ultimate energy as to the why of everything, of that material abundance, is that soul abundance. And the material around it, like the material abundance around it, is just a reflection of that soul abundance. And this is a message of what you're building in the world is going to have that energy. It's going to last forever, no matter how long it lasts in the material. So I mean, it feels guaranteed to me. It feels like you're on the path to this beautiful, holistic abundance that's in harmony with your soul and in harmony with humanity and in harmony with nature. And so keep walking this path. If it's been a long road, there's a reason for it, because you're being shaped into the person who can embody this. And that's not always easy. There's a lot of healing and deconditioning that comes with that. So let's see what other, I'm going to pull 2 more cards. We have, oh, I love that. We have the 6 of Cups. We kind of talked about the inner child earlier. And yeah, the 6 of Cups is, in this context, I'm taking it as the past and the inner child and healing of the past and harmony with your past, like the union, an internal union with your past, understanding, compassion for what's happened in your past, and moving forward with all parts of you intact and in harmony and in union. And yeah, period. One more card. Oh, you got the 6 of Wands too. Okay, so you got the 6 of Wands, and this is so interesting because I actually like did a little musing about the 6 of Wands in my own, I was like doing a voice note for myself earlier, and because I was like, man, like why do I always think of the 6 of Wands as this surface level, like, oh, like people will say it's like about fame and it's about like being honored, like your reputation being really good and being honored by the world around you, being well liked, like, and it's just like that seems so surface to me. Like, not that that's a bad thing or a bad thing to want, but like to me I'm like, oh, it's got to be deeper than that. Like, what's the soul energy of the 6 of Wands? And I kind of got this feeling of like you being surrendered to the most authentic part of you and you embodying that everywhere you go unapologetically, and that being so well received from the world around you. And just as a natural effect of that, that being like people recognizing you and honoring you and being grateful for you because of who you are and what you bring to them in a way. And it's more of, it's like a natural flow. And what you build in the world is bringing such beauty and love to the world. And they love you in return. They see that authenticity and they see that truth in it. And then they see themselves in that. And it's like this beautiful, mutually uplifting energy as opposed to like one-sided. And so, yeah, like that's the true epitome of the 6 of Wands for me. And I'll never forget that new understanding. But yeah, so, I mean, come on, like what a beautiful reading. This is gorgeous. You are on a soul path that can't be replicated, and it's uniquely your own. And stay authentic to yourself, follow your gut, follow your instinct, follow your soul, and follow your heart. And go to that heart space, send that love, let yourself cry it out, you know, like do the release you need, and just watch the power of your being like amplify. And it all is coming from a space of love. So yeah, that's what's most important. So and like even like with the death card here, it's like what's going to be most important to you. I don't want to be too morbid, but like on your deathbed, you know, like when you're at the end of your life, that could be an activity that could be an exercise that you do right now, or sometime soon, is kind of putting yourself there, like, well, okay, when I'm 80, what will I look back, like maybe even tapping into your future. I mean, I totally believe you can do that, like tap into your 80-year-old self and be like, hey, 80-year-old self, like, can you give me some wisdom and help me along my path right now? Because I don't know if I'm making the right choices, or like, you know, and listen to that part of you, that wise old part of you, and take it in through your heart, and let it move you and let it change you and let it guide you. So alrighty, group number 1, this was a really beautiful reading that went pretty deep. I did not expect it to go that deep, but it made me think a little bit about, you know, abundance and confidence and what what that really looks like embodied in a way that feels authentic. So I really love that. It has a lot to do with healing and purpose. And yeah, I love that. So alrighty, thank you so much for being here. I am honored by your presence. If you'd like to support my channel, I would love it if you'd like, comment, or subscribe. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, I offer 2 in-depth pick a flower readings every month, along with 1 infinite prayer, guided visualization, and Reiki blessing. So the infinite prayer session alone, I believe, is worth the Patreon subscription. It is usually about 15 to 20 minute long guided visualization where I am channeling Reiki, channeling life force energy, and I am guiding you throughout that process. I'm sometimes doing guided visualizations, and other times I'm doing like an affirmational journey where I'm affirming, like just kind of saying affirmations through it. And it's always attributed to the personal reading that I do every month. So I do an internal reading that has to do with your healing journey every month, and the infinite prayer session is connected to that. So if that sounds interesting to you, there's a link down below for my Patreon. You can also check out my other infinite prayer sessions if you feel guided to any of those. I have a way that you can leave me a tip if you feel so called to. It is called Buy Me a Coffee. I also have merchandise that's really cute. It is my Bee and Flowers logo with the phrase "Hello Lovely Human" on it. It is mugs, sweatshirts, notebooks, things like that. I also sometimes offer personal readings if you'd like to look and see if I have any of those available. And then lastly, I have another YouTube channel. It is called Soul Hearken. It is my heart and soul in video form if you'd like to check that out. Again, thank you so much. Honored by your presence, and I hope to see you in another reading. Bye. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to the Little Flower Oracle. My name is Krista, and I deliver the messages and frequencies you need to help you align to your soul's most authentic and abundant path. So for today's reading, my prompt is amplify your glow up. So my intention is to give you messages that you need to help you find that internal confidence that glows from the inside out, and tap into your natural abundance and into the messages you need to hear to help you amplify true abundance in your life, both internally and externally in the material world. So you chose this beautiful pink and peach carnation. I'll give you a peek at it before I set it down, but here she is. She's going to be a presence for us during our reading. I'll put her right up here, and we're just going to get right into it with your overarching theme card from the Herbal Astrology Oracle. All right. No, that was the last readings one. I'm like, nope, we're not doing that. Still had a life of its own. It kind of like popped out. Let's clear the energy from the last reading and ask, what is group number 2's group Peach Carnation? What is their overarching theme for their reading? Okay, so we have number 44 with Valerian and acceptance. Number 44 reduces to 8, which is a number for abundance. This picture is pretty intense. There's a mouse or a rat on it. There is a storm in the background. There are like mountains. This is a doorway that's open. And in the background, there are mountains, a storm with lightning. And at the top of the storm, there is this figure that is kind of riding the waves of the storm, like riding in on the storm. Whoa, that is crazy, because valerian, I know, is a very calming herb. It helps you sleep. So maybe some of you are having a hard time sleeping, because if this energy was present during sleep, that would be, or maybe some of you are having a lot of awakenings or messages coming through during your sleep. So just be aware of that. It might be beneficial, especially if you have some weird dreams and you remember them upon waking, recording them on your phone or in a journal or whatever it may be, writing them down and just making sure you track them, because it seems like some important messages might be coming in at night. So really powerful messages, really eye-opening and awakening messages. It really does feel, and then there's, I think this is the sign for Neptune, this little symbol up here. And Neptune is like dream world kind of energy. So yeah, definitely your sleep might have been being very interesting. And even the mouse, like this is so, like mouses kind of scurry at night. They're not like daytime, active in the daytime. So interesting. All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull a couple more cards from the Angels of Atlantis just to see where we're going here. So we have Archangel Michael with enchantment and Archangel Jophiel with forgiveness. So I am familiar with both of these angels. And Archangel Michael is an angel of protection. I'm kind of feeling the call to pull more angel cards, actually. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. We've got Shamael with serenity and Zadkiel. Oh, son of a gun. Oh my. Okay, there is a freaking stink bug in here. So stink bugs are very invasive where I'm at right now, and they usually are dormant in the winter. And this stink bug came out of nowhere. I haven't heard one or seen one in quite a while. So that could be another sign for you in a weird way, because we're talking about like awakenings during dormancy, you know, during sleep. So that's kind of definitely a relevant energy. But yeah, gratitude, forgiveness, enchantment, and serenity. And we have this temple here, although I don't remember the name of it for some reason. Taj Mahal. I think it's called the Taj Mahal. It's in India. I'm pretty sure some like king or whatever they would call him, a sultan. I don't, I have no idea what they would have called him, but made that for a woman, like made that out of love, romantic love for a woman. So I'm going to keep that in mind. And I'm going to pull a couple cards from the Woodland Wardens. Nothing's coming through quite yet. And that's why I'm just going to keep pulling cards until messages start pouring through me. We have the Fox and Ivy with adaptability. Oh, this is pretty. And the Dragonfly and Pansy with balance. Okay. And then I'm just going to get right into the tarot. I think I forgot to mention in my intro that this reading is for the full moon in Leo. So the energies of the full moon in Leo are amplifying this reading. I am recording it on the 10th. The full moon is on the 12th. So, and it's early on the 12th, in the morning on the 12th. So definitely we're in it right now. We're in, like, what do they call it? Like the shadow or something. But yeah, so my intentions are to ask the question, how can the energies of the full moon in Leo help you to amplify your internal sense of confidence and your manifestation of abundance? So I just wanted to relay that. I can't believe I forgot to say it. Okay, so with the tarot, we have the Six of Swords. I've noticed a lot of sixes in the tarot have been coming up today for group number 1. I think I had a couple. And then we've got the Page of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, okay, the Star, the King of Cups, the Three of Swords. Group number 1 got, oh no, the Five of Swords, and group number 1 got the Five of Swords too. And then the Five of Cups, okay. Okay, so there is some energy here of kind of like sadness, loss, disappointment. And it feels like a long journey. Like whatever journey you've been on, it feels long. It feels like you've been waiting a very long time for something that you've had your your eyes on with the star. The star is about dreaming big and your highest ideals. And with the Knight of Pentacles, that is about slow and steady progress over time. We've got the Page of Pentacles, which is about curiosity, learning, being new at something. And with the Five of Cups and the Five of Swords being present, they're both very heavy energies. And there's this feeling of both disappointment in oneself and feeling at a loss, like feeling like this feeling of like, I don't know what to do at this point. Like if something hasn't changed in the way I've wanted it by now, then will it ever? I think we're hitting kind of a wall. Like a message that was just coming through in this weird way, and it feels like kind of like a cliche message about manifestation in a way, because we have this card over here, the Zadkiel card with gratitude, and then we have this like plethora. It looks like a cornucopia kind of thing, like of pumpkins and fruits and vegetables. It's like we're existing in gratitude, you know, or well, we're existing in abundance and we're having gratitude for that. There's almost like this feeling of shifting your energy by embodying gratitude for what you already have. And then I keep getting an eye roll energy. It's so funny. Like I got that in group number 1 too. It's like, I can feel your eye rolls on the other side of this. Like, just be positive and have gratitude and look around and see what you already have. And, you know, and it's like, oh my God, eye roll. How many times have I heard that? But there's kind of like a doubling down energy coming through of like, no, seriously, you've got it all wrong. The way you're looking, like if we're existing in these disappointed energies, there's this feeling of, no, the answer is having gratitude for what you already have. And forgiveness is even here, which brings in this grace and brings in this, like, I don't know, like whatever it is you're disappointed with, there's like a sense of, I forgive the situation. I forgive all of it. I'm shedding everything. Like I'm just going to finally release it all. And we've got acceptance here too with Valerian. It's like finally finding acceptance for all of the things that you've been lamenting internally, even if you're not consciously doing it. It's like finally just putting down the sword, putting down that fight, putting down that angst, putting down that disappointment, and just like accepting all of it. Like this could be mistakes that you've thought, like mistakes that you quote unquote made, like, or I guess I would say quote unquote mistakes that you've made. Things that you could look back on and regret, things that you worry or wonder if you could have done differently for a different outcome. And even with this card, the Fox and the Ivy here, and it says adaptability. There is this acceptance coming through for everything you've had to do to adapt to your circumstances. And there's like almost like an honor for it coming through. There's this flipping of your consciousness and your mindset that's going to happen for you. It feels like imminent. It feels like what's happening. And it's you recognizing that all of the moves you made along the way were very like strategic on the part of your higher self and strategic on the part of your own instincts. Like it feels like once we're on the other side of whatever all of this like lack or disappointment is, maybe not lack, I don't know if that's the right word, but there's a feeling of it all making sense when we scale out and we see it. So like when we're past this phase that we're in right now, and we're 3 years in the future, and this dream, this thing that you want to come true for yourself has come true. When we look back and we see everything we did to get there, we have nothing but gratitude for ourselves for doing all of that. Because every little move in some crazy way, although it felt messy, unstructured, it felt aimless, it felt like it didn't make any sense, everything in some way had a place to help piece together where you end up. And you'll understand that it couldn't have been any other way. And there will be so much gratitude that comes in within that revelation and that understanding. And I don't want to diminish, like actual, if anybody are going through anything really heavy, and I don't want to say like, oh, everything is, what do they always, I think a lot of people get annoyed when people are like, well, everything happens for a reason. Well, some things actually don't, but they're just like a side effect of being human on earth. So like some things actually do happen, and there is no reason, it's being caught in the crosshairs of a wounded soul, basically. But there is the potential for acceptance. There is the potential for moving on and letting go, and this forgiveness. And the forgiveness is serving you and your soul and your ability to truly live in your highest sense of abundance and internal freedom. So there is such a, like, starting out, it really did feel like a little bit messy, and there's a little bit of this internal conflict and sadness over here that's coming through. But ultimately, you're on the path to wholeness. You're on the path to a long-held dream come true. You're on the path to things working out better than you could ever imagine, and the universe having your back, and you're on the path to miracles happening. I get the feeling with over here with enchantment and the unicorn with Archangel Michael, and then the Serenity card. I get the feeling that there's a part, and the dragonfly being here too. Like, I feel like dragonflies are very mystical and beautiful, and yeah, we've got a lot of adaptability energy here. That's interesting. I'm gonna keep that in mind too. Sorry, I'm like rambling a little bit, but this energy up here feels very magical, like these purpley energies, like crown chakra, the dragonfly with these flowers. Like the energy here feels very, and then again with the Taj Mahal being built like for a romantic reason, the power behind that, and the, like someone, it's just like someone being so overtaken by their passion and their love that they build this beautiful, amazing, this hall and this palace. And it's like there's this side of you that is so beautiful and so wants to be expressed through you. This passionate, free-flowing, romantic, artistic. We've got the King of Cups. That could be a very artistic being and romantic being, I think. And there is that energy, I think, that wants to be embodied through you, and there's a place for it. And right underneath it, we have the Five of Cups and the Five of Swords, and it almost feels like an energy that has gotten in the way of you being able to embody, like your disappointment, or it's almost like a burnout, or like a, what's the right word? Like when you get disappointed over time, like when your hope gets like withered away at, because time, no matter what you do, it's like time after time after time, things haven't changed. Like a certain thing hasn't come to reality that would maybe create the circumstances for you to be more embodied in this beautiful, enchanting energy, this creative energy. I don't know. It's almost like this part of you is getting tired, or getting like, it's like losing hope and feeling smothered or closed in by the reality that, again, like time after time, things haven't panned out the way you wanted. So it really does, like this part of you isn't going anywhere though. This is the higher natured part of you, and it's a part of your soul, and it's not going anywhere unless you lock it up for good yourself, unless you make that call. And it doesn't look like you're making that call. You're not making that call. Like, you're rooted in with all of the energies, most of the energies in this entire reading are all very much about hope, about faith, about internal transformation, forgiveness, grace, about knowing where you're going, about knowing what your potential is and walking towards it, about compassion, about love, and keeping, even being in this beginner mentality and your curiosity staying intact. And like Six of Swords is about hope and the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's intact. You know where you're going. You haven't lost that faith. I think this reading's just like nodding a little to and acknowledging that this has been tough for you. And I feel it in my heart space a little bit. This is so interesting, but it makes sense because Leo is a very heart-centered sign. Someone who like an energy that is more like passionate and works through the heart energy. So that actually does make a lot of sense for these readings. I love that. And so, yeah, I feel that in the heart center, that disappointment, that sadness over time, like corroding that sense of hope and enchantment and love and creativity and romance. But I want to tell you and remind you and reassure you that it won't win, and that what you're building and what you're dreaming for and what you're working towards is still on track. It's always been on track. It's never not been on track. And it's only human to lose hope every now and again. There's this feeling of allowing yourself to indulge these energies a little bit, like the internal conflict around it and the disappointment, the sadness. There's almost like a feeling of, instead of like holding it at bay and worrying it's going to overtake, like indulging it, like giving yourself a chance to like sit with it and be disappointed, be sad, like let it, just experience it in its full, and listen to that space in your heart. And there's a message that there's something deeper. There's a message that's deeper for you there. So yeah, take a walk in nature, spend some time on your own, and let yourself be disappointed and sad. And I just a funny reading to be like, it's okay, just be disappointed and sad. But yeah, that part of your soul, that part of your heart, I think just has a message for you. So yeah, spend some time there. Okay, I'm going to pull a few more cards from the Muse Tarot, and that should wrap up our reading. All right. We have the Hierophant. Okay, definitely curious about that one. The Knight of Wands. All right. And then the Three of Cups. Okay. Interesting. Not really what I expected, but I love that kind of. Okay, so the Hierophant. Let's start there. So the Hierophant is about ancient wisdom, like being preserved and being held sacred. And it's also about systems and structures put in place to preserve that ancient wisdom. And sometimes the Hierophant can lean into dogma. It's when we take that ancient wisdom and we put it into a box, and then we decide that this is the ultimate truth, and any truth that wavers from it is wrong. Like, that's when it gets tricky. So there's something here about like releasing rigidity around your beliefs, breaking out of a box, like breaking out of a cycle or a box, when it comes to like your theology that you have in place about the universe or about God or about your higher self or your higher nature, or what's right and wrong. Like, it's that kind of feel. It's like there's a restructuring, I think, that's happening for you around that. And I believe that this restructuring is going to help you shift into someone who takes action in the now more often, on your passions, on your inspirations, on the things, on your whims. We're not overthinking things anymore. We just do. Three of Cups is here, and that's about merrymaking in a way. It's about relationships, community, celebrations. There's this feeling of this new energy you'll be stepping into where you're more action oriented and you're not overthinking and you're more creative. Like that energy we were talking about, that part of you that wants to exist and that was getting a little corroded by disappointment, is going to feel free. Now that we've confronted this disappointment, we let it breathe for a while, we're able to just release it and reinforce the belief that this part of your soul is allowed to be an integral part of your path and have a huge, like this part of your soul is going to have more of a say in your life than almost anything else. It's going to drive you. This passionate, creative part of you is going to drive you from here on out. And I think what this like disappointment energy has done is made you worry that you might have to fit yourself in a box. Like you might have to surrender to the ways of the world. Like you might have to let go of some of your quote, like frivolous dreams, like quote, pipe dreams. When they were never frivolous, they were never pipe dreams. They were always valid and real. And I think this disappointment, this sadness, or this corrosion that has been happening is simply a side effect of being human on this journey. And once we awaken to the reality that this whole time we've never given up, we've known what we were building and walking towards, and we've just been adapting to our circumstances, that's when, again, like once you're on the other side of this such forgiveness and grace for yourself is going to come through, an understanding of why it had to be this way. It's because we live on earth and it's imperfect. Our path and our journey is difficult and imperfect, and it takes resilience and it takes faith, blind faith sometimes, and that's a powerful and strong thing to do, to walk towards something even when the structures of this world tell you it's crazy or it's wrong and or it's irresponsible or whatever the messaging may be. We're moving, there's just no doubt about it. Like to me, you're walking into this abundance, and I think you're walking into reception of it from your community. Like there's like a feeling of people who see you, know you, honor you, and think like you. Like more people coming into your world that are gonna like they exist in a reality where this part of them, so more creative people, more hopeful people, more faith-filled people, more people who are willing to take risks, like types of people like you. Like it feels like those types of people coming in and validating you in your journey and what you're working towards. So it feels really very beautiful, and like things are shifting in your external world to help you with just not feeling like you're like not feeling like crazy for believing what you believe and walking towards what you walk towards. That's all. You're gonna find people to help, and then from then on out, it just feels like you're never gonna doubt that part of you again. You're never gonna like worry that part of you is not gonna have a say or not gonna be able to lead your life and in the way you want it to. So, because it just feels better when other people validate you. That's really important, And Six of Wands isn't present in this reading, but that external validation is very important, and you're going to get it. So, okay. Alrighty, so I think this was your reading group number 2. Thank you so much for being here. I'm honored by your presence. If you'd like to support my channel, I would love it if you'd like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. I would be honored if you would check out my Patreon and see if it's for you. If you go on there, you can see some of my thumbnails and if those readings could pull you in. Every month, I have 2 in-depth pick a flower readings along with an infinite prayer, guided visualization, and Reiki transmission, which is really powerful, impactful, and potent. So link down below for that. You can also check out my other infinite prayer sessions if you feel called to any of those. You can check out my merchandise. It has my bee and flowers logo with the phrase "Hello, lovely human" on it. It is adorable. I have another YouTube channel, which is called Soul Hearken. It is my heart and soul in video form. And you can check to see if I am offering any personal readings as well. Sometimes I will open up some slots for those. So I think that's it. I think I covered everything. Oh, you can leave me a tip if you want. It's called Buy Me a Coffee. So yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope I see you in another reading. Bye. Hello, lovely human. Welcome to the Little Flower Oracle. My name is Krista, and I deliver the messages and frequencies you need to align to your soul's most authentic and abundant nature and path. So, for today's reading, I was inspired by the full moon in Leo that is happening on February 12th, 2025, to give you a reading to help you amplify your internal sense of confidence and amplify your manifestation journey, your abundance journey, whatever that looks like to you, whatever is the most aligned for you as far as abundance goes. Internally and externally, we want to talk about that. So you chose the Fuchsia Carnation, which I will show you a close-up of. Really beautiful carnation. As you can see, there are a couple different colors here. I'm not sure if I don't think it's dyed. I think this is a natural color of carnation. So really pretty. She is going to be a little presence here for us in our reading. I'll put her over here. But we're going to just get right into it with an overarching theme card from the Herbal Astrology Oracle. All right, so we have a big cat, which is relevant to the sign of Leo. Of course, the lion is associated with Leo. This is a leopard, but still. We have number 36 with Coca, and it says foresight. So I'm actually going to look up what Coca is because I'm not quite sure. I at first assumed it was like cocoa or cacao, like associated with that, but we'll see. So coca is chewed to stimulate capacity, energy, and abilities. So it's more of an awakening herb. And it represents supernatural powers, ability to see universal truth, genius, spiritual guidance, brilliance, integrity, and impeccability. And its astrological rulers are Uranus and Venus. I like Uranus and Venus together. That's interesting. Venus is of course, planet of love and relationships, and Uranus is a planet of unpredictability and chaos. So maybe there's something going on there. But we will see. I'm going to pull a couple more cards, some cards from the Angels of Atlantis, and see what else comes through. So which archangels want to be present during group number 3's reading? We have Haniel with hope and Zadkiel with security. I gotta say, all 3 readings have had similar themes. Hope and security have been similar themes throughout the readings. So it's kind of like coming full circle right now. I believe Haniel is a more feminine leading angel. When I think of Haniel, for some reason, I think of my grandma. So maybe someone's grandma could be relevant right now. I think Haniel is associated with the moon, and well, we are doing a full moon in Leo reading right now. There is a dove on the card, which symbolizes peace. And then as far as Zadkiel goes, with security, I love that. I love that feeling. So, and then with Coca and foresight in the center, there's this feeling of, I know what's coming for me. I have hope for beautiful things in my life. I have hope for my life in general. I just noticed the rainbow in the card. Always makes me think of the Ten of Cups, which is like best case scenario working out. And there's this strong, steady rootedness feeling because of a faith in a hope, like a faith in and a knowing, a deep knowing of what is meant for you. And that thing that's meant for you being reflected in the physical world. This woman here is pulling out, it's a plant that she's pulling out of the earth. She's harvesting something. And in the middle of the plant, it's almost like she's pulling a sword out. It's making me think of the sword and the stone, like the chosen one pulling the sword out. And it really does. It feels like someone who is like Seven of Pentacles energy. Like I am harvesting, I am reaping what I've sown. And part of the roots of this beautiful thing that I am reaping is all based on foresight, all based on my hope and my belief in my hope, my belief in what I know to be true and what I know I'm worthy of and what I know the universe has prepared for me. So that being that sword energy, which is air element, mixed with this earth energy, these roots, it's like that beautiful idea, whatever you're creating or hoping for, just like manifesting itself in the physical material world. And she's so gracious and graceful when she's pulling this out. It's like almost, and she just, the energy is just like, I already know, like I've known this whole time this was meant for me. It's assuredness and patience. It's almost like she's waited and she knows now is the time, and she, with grace and surrender and trust and gratitude, she's pulling this out of the earth. But also there's this, I keep trying to put into words what I'm feeling, and it's like this feeling of knowingness and like a steadiness that comes with like, this is normal. It's almost like this is my new normal, like reaping this abundance. And so it's this feeling of something before that you had dreamed and hoped for and could never even imagine it materializing in the world, it becoming material, and you being so like you're existing in gratitude for it, but you're not like, oh my God, this is amazing, this has finally come true. Da, da, da. It's just like, yes, this is everything is as it should be, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like you don't have to overflow with praise to the universe that it gave you this thing finally. It's like this feeling of no, like this is natural law, and I'm just accepting it. So yeah, just really beautiful energy to start off with. I love it. Gonna pull a couple cards from the Woodland Wardens. Yeah, you're entering into the reaping of like what you've sown. It's as if, you know, you've been sowing seeds and tending to a garden and like religiously and faithfully pulling weeds and making sure none of your plants are choked out. Like you've been, like the weather has been perfect. Like you've had all the rain you need to nourish your seeds and for everything to just be perfect. Like everything, like the amount of sun and rain and everything has been perfect. And so you expect it. You're like, this has been a really good growing season. Nothing has gotten in the way. I've shown up this whole time. So yeah, I expect a really beautiful harvest. Okay, we have the wolf and rose hip. Ooh, with guardianship. Okay. I'm feeling the vibe. It's got a lot to do with responsibility for what you're creating in this world, for yourself, for your family, for your life, for the world itself, for humanity, like what it is you're bringing into the world, having a reverence and a internal sense of trust and responsibility for what you've been entrusted with, like what mission, what task, whatever it is you're meant to do on this earth, and you having a reverence and an awakening and a reckoning with the reality that this is your sacred mission. And I think it's just a wake-up call. And it's like, you've been doing really well. Like, obviously, look at this. You've been tending to this garden really beautifully. But I think it's more of like a visceral awareness of like, oh my, I have to, like, I want to take myself more seriously. I want to take my work more seriously. And I want to look at every day as an opportunity to show up for what I'm meant to do, no matter how mundane it may look in the day-to-day. An honoring of every little mundanity in my day-to-day is a part of me showing up for what I'm called to do on this planet. So, oh man. So the deer and oat with healing. So this is a really cute card. I don't know why that deer just looks so sweet. His face, he's got like a squinty eye, and it's almost like he's like just meek little deer, and proud. He looks proud. So with healing, I do believe something you're doing in this world is very healing for yourself, for your family, and for the world. And I think we're just, we're taking that more seriously. We're taking that role more seriously, like a healer role. And I want to say this, like, healing, like a healer doesn't have to look like a shaman, a massage therapist, a doctor, like whatever, what you would normally think of like a healer, like a Reiki therapist, whatever. That's not, like, anything you do in love is healing. And this reading in particular is emphasizing that element of what you do. Like, you are a healer. No matter what art you do, no matter what, whatever work you do in the world, the way in which you show up for it can create healing. So just take that in and reckon with that reality. And there is that feeling of, okay, wow, I didn't realize it was that, like, it actually did make a difference in this way. And so, wow, I'm going to take it more seriously. I'm going to be more careful with how I show up. Treat it a little bit more sacredly. Okay, so I'm going to pull some tarot from the Muse Tarot. Yeah, with guardianship, that was the vibe. The wolf and rose hip. Wolves are the dichotomy of the Queen of Pentacles flew out, which makes a lot of sense to me in this. The dichotomy of the wolf being more of like a predator energy, and then the deer being more of the like a prey animal. Which, is it a prey animal? I wonder, in nature, what other animals eat deer? That's my question, actually. All right, so my SD card was full. So the last thing I said before I pulled these tarot cards down here, I was talking about the dichotomy between and the polarized energy of the deer energy, which is more of that, maybe not necessarily prey, but it's definitely not a predator. It's more of a meek energy. It's more of a gentle energy. And then we've got this wolf, which is the more predatorial energy. And so my message that came through, was there's this, if you're feeling that dichotomy within you of intense energies of like a soft gentleness, but also like a ferocity and a hungry like energy, there's this feeling of those two energies like balancing themselves out in a way that, or just like existing within your internal being in a way that evokes this like message to come through, or this like healing to come through. So if you're feeling that internal angst, trust it, sit with it, and wait for that clarity to break through. There's an answer in it. There's a release in it. There's something there. So that was the main thing. I didn't say too much about the cards down here, so that's good. I don't have to try and remember what I said. But we've got the Queen of Pentacles, which makes a lot of sense for what we were talking about, living in that harmony with the natural world, feeling so abundant, feeling like this is my normal, this is what it is, honoring and tending to like the garden outside and tending to my family lovingly and with reverence and gratitude, you know, it's that. And so yeah, Queen of Pentacles makes perfect sense. We've got the Ace of Wands, the Nine of Swords, the Eight of Cups. I thought it was really cool that the Seven of Pentacles came out, considering I mentioned it earlier, and it is basically everything we're talking about, reaping of or harvesting of like abundance, really, and work you've put in. So we've got another queen here, so more feminine energy coming through, Queen of Cups, and one more card, which makes perfect sense as well, on Six of Pentacles, which is about balance. And so again, with the two intense energies on the side, that more hungry, predatorial, and then the gentle, meek energy, somehow those are going, like, it's some perfect storm for some beautiful thing to be created from within you. So embrace your inner complexities, embrace what's going on in your emotional world. You're ripe. It's like you're ripe for the creation of something new and beautiful. There's a lot of creative energy, like passionate energy, like there's something that wants to be birthed through you. There's something that you're called to put out there, or at least you're soon going to be aware of what you're called to put out there. So I do want to talk about the Eight of Cups being in the center of the reading. When it's directly in the center, I do think it holds some weight. And then interestingly, like, we've got this void here. And we do have a lot of circles on these cards. I kind of want to mention that too. There are tons of circles throughout this entire reading. So I just want to mention that circles are kind of like, they're about infinity. They're about completion, like a holistic energy, wholeness. So Eight of Cups, okay. The fact that this void is open, this hole, it looks like in the reading, of course, it's probably an eclipse, like a solar eclipse. The fact that it's here in the middle feels relevant somehow, and I feel like I want to dive into a message that wants to come through within this card alone. Typically, this card is about walking away from what isn't serving you, moving into new territory, leaving, because they're inherent in it is leaving something behind. And with the void energy, with this hole, this black hole, it feels like it's leaving this openness in your soul, like an emptiness almost, that's ready to be filled with something more worthy of your holding of it. It's like reminding me of, like, if you are creating yourself as a sacred space and you holding space for things that aren't necessarily honoring what you've cultivated within your own being. Like, it's almost like a clashing. Like, oh my gosh, I've cultivated this internal sacred space and I'm trying to open up to let good things in, but I'm holding space for these things that aren't necessarily honoring this part of me, this beautiful part of me I'm cultivating. So there's this feeling of letting those things go and letting them go effortlessly. The way I just breathed in and had that exhale, it felt so good and it felt so effortless. And there's this message here that if there are things that you've been holding on to, relationships, people, things, habits, whatever it may be, you have an opportunity now to release them in a way that feels effortless. It's like a feeling of having this thing feel like so hard to break away from, relationship, habit, etc. So hard to break away from for so long. And then there's this feeling of just like effortlessly walking away from it and not missing it. And being okay with existing in the void that it leaves. And feeling safer there and more comfortable in that void than you were when you were filling the void with the thing that wasn't serving you. So there is a message here to have hope. You're completely capable of walking away from what isn't serving you. In fact, it feels inevitable and it feels like it will come naturally. And it's not something to be concerned or worried about. I actually really like this Nine of Swords card. Nine of Swords is about fears, angst, anxiety. And this woman in this card feels like she's harnessing it really well. And then there's even another woman down in the bottom of the card who's resting peacefully in these clouds. She's sleeping peacefully. It feels very calm. It feels almost like this is like a higher being that's holding all of the fears for her. And like when you walk away and you're existing in that quote unquote, like the void that's left, I see you resting in peace there while the divine carries all of your past attachments and worries and fears around walking away from this. And it just feels safe. It really does. And it feels comfortable and peaceful, and you're not going to have a struggle. It's just a calm letting go. You know where you're walking, and what you've cultivated to get yourself to this place is not going unnoticed in the spiritual realm. And I think it might be going a little unnoticed by you. What you've done to get yourself to where you are now is powerful. It's been steady and strong and consistent. And I think we're questioning a little bit too much if that's true. And it is true. Like, you've been reliable in this. You've been devout in this. You've been surrendered to this soul path that you're on. And it has all counted towards the building of this beautiful future and this abundance and this internal sense of security reflected back to you in the external, and your relationship with the external, aka the physical world, nature, the earth, abundance in that way. And it being like a relationship that you see so clearly and you feel so clearly. You feel it in your body, you feel it in the world, and you feel it in your soul. And it's just natural. It's natural flow, and it feels so grounded. And it feels so secure. And it's a knowing that this will never go away. This sense of stability and strength and abundance. This will never go away. There is also, with the Queen of Cups, a sense of emotional freedom and there's a sense of emotional fulfillment. I am happy with where I'm at. I feel so satiated by my world, by my relationships, by my connection to myself, my art, my work, whatever it is I do. I feel emotionally connected to it. I feel free. I feel safe to exist in my creative self, my feminine self, because I feel so much that my material needs are more than covered, and I'm so rooted and grounded, and everything around me is reciprocal, and I see this perfect mirror. I see that it works from the inside out, and it's perfect, and I harness that out of a surrender to the divine, and a harmony and a recognition that the divine and the physical world are not separate from one another. They are one and the same. I'm going to pull a few cards from the Star Seeker Tarot and see what else wants to come through. So this Eight of Cups, this walking away, whatever that means to you right now in your life, it feels like a final walking away. Like things are about to change for good. And that does mean in the material world as well. That it's internal and external. That's what it feels like. It feels like your internal sense of abundance and internal balance and harmony. And then your external world matching that, and everything flowing together in union, and that relationship just being this beautiful outpicturing of the truth of your own soul, and knowing that that's how the world is supposed to be. That's how all humans are meant to experience life on earth. And there's no shying away from rising to your calling in a way that helps spread that truth to other humans and awaken other humans to their potential to exist in that world as well. Okay, so we've got the Fool. Oh, I love that. That makes, I kind of want to move it over here. So we've got this walking away card. And that void I talked about. And the Fool feels kind of like the energy after the void. It's like brand new, fresh energy. Like you're allowing yourself to exist in that void and rest in that void peacefully. And then it's like there's nothing except for brand new energy to burst through. Like if the void is the sunset or the darkest hour of the night, the Fool card is the sunrise. The new horizon, the fresh energy, the birds chirping, the limitless potential that is ahead of you. And anything that got in the way of you existing in that energy is gone forever. Because of your own choices, because of what you decided. And you have the King of Pentacles. We've got the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles is that masculine, grounded, safe, rooted energy that makes you feel so safe in your ability to be in your creative flow, in your creative flow, I guess is the best wording. Your inner child, your childlike nature, your free-spirited nature. You're so internally balanced that both are activated. That sense of rootedness, security, structure, groundedness holds you within your own being and all around you. And reflected potentially in the people who are in your life. This could be a person in your life reflecting this energy and aiding in your ability to step more into your childlike and free-spirited nature. This is where you'll be, though. So safe and resting in nature and in provision, like being provided for every little thing you could possibly, your heart could possibly want, your body could possibly want. Not asking for any more. Just knowing you always have just what you need. But yet feeling safe and rooted in the knowing that you exist in overflow at the same time. It's kind of like a weird paradox in a way. Knowing you always have just what you need, but knowing you exist in overflow and plethora and more than enough at all times. So much so that you're so generous with what you quote. It almost even feels like you quote have. Like you recognize this is abundance you're passing through and existing in, and it's not necessarily like yours, you know. It just is. Okay, so we've got the Two of Wands. Ooh. Okay. So the first thing I thought of was from this new energy that you're going to be walking in towards, or into, the Fool energy I talked about, the new sunrise. You're going to be able to envision a new future, like a future that is beyond your wildest dreams. Like you're going to be able to, and it's more, there almost is more so a message of you'll be able to like reassess like what it is you exactly want and what it is you're walking towards. And it feels like a humbling kind of energy. Like, as much as I said, you're beyond your wildest dreams. It's almost like, again, we have that dichotomy energy again. We keep having these like opposing, balancing forces going on. But yeah, there's this feeling of anything is possible, but I'm so grateful to exist in the now and to have, like, I'm imagining someone like at a cafe eating, and for some reason gluten-free is coming. It's like, okay, like if you have like a special need for like, I don't know why this comes, like you say you have a special dietary need and you find yourself in a cafe that offers like a cupcake that's like non-dairy, you know, vegan or whatever it is that's your dietary need, and you hardly ever find it. You know, you find the type of cupcake that you can eat, and it's like, I'm existing in limitless potential, but right now this cupcake is my dream come true, and I'm so grateful for it, and I'm existing in the highest potential of joy just because of this cupcake. And so it's very grounded and humble and with the present moment, and so grateful for every little thing. You're living in an abundance that's like that. So that's really beautiful, and that's what you're building, what you're creating, and it's inevitable. You're on that path, so keep walking it. This walking away energy, like, you've got this. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. And it feels so inevitable, like your soul will just, it'll be like, it's time. Like, it's time to go. And then you go, you let go. And it's like the easiest, it's easier than you ever could have imagined. So don't worry, don't stress about the things you need to let go of or change or release. And just know you're on that journey, and the time will come when it's that easy stepping forward and letting go. So, alrighty. So thank you so much, group number 3. These were really absolutely beautiful readings. I am so grateful that I decided to actually follow the nudge and do this. So if you'd like to support my channel, I would love it if you'd like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to be supported by me a little more deeply, I do have a Patreon where I offer 2 in-depth pick a flower readings every month, along with 1 infinite prayer, guided visualization, and a Reiki blessing that is really impactful and powerful and potent and helps you on your journey. And I do internally focused and externally focused readings every month. So if you feel called to that, there's a link down below. I also have really cute merchandise. It has my Bee and Flowers logo on it with the phrase, "Hello, lovely human." Very cute. I have a way that you can leave me a tip if you feel called to. It is called Buy Me a Coffee. You can check out my other infinite prayer sessions. You can see if I have any personal readings available, or you can check out my other YouTube channel, which is called Soul Hearken. It is my heart and soul in video form. Thank you so much. I am honored by your presence here, and I hope to see you in another reading. Bye.